Jonathon Duniam joins us now. Of course, he's the Shadow Home Affairs spokesperson. He joins us now from Hobart. Geez, what a week you've had, obviously being in and around all of this, but also today coming forward with some concrete stuff. You guys have done some serious policy stuff and serious thinking in the past week or so, to be commended, mate. Of all of those different ideas, I want to pluck through a couple of them. One is that essentially, if there are any groups in Australia that are involved in anti-Semitism which are funded by universities or government grants, if they are proven to be so, you're going to yank their funding.
Well, Paul, good to be with you. And yeah, absolutely we are. I mean, how on earth we can have a government that thinks it's okay to take that finite resource, taxpayers' money, and hand it out to organisations, be they arts or education institutions, that sit idly by and sometimes even foster anti-Semitic activity. I mean, the universities that allowed these encampments and all sorts of activities to take place on campus, marginalising Jewish university students, and we caught up with a heap of them over the last 4 days. The fact that they are getting taxpayers' money with no consequences, no penalties whatsoever, allowing this sort of behaviour to happen, has to stop. That is the kind of stuff that needs to happen. It's the kind of stuff the Siegel report recommended 6 months ago, and the PM and the government have sat idly by and done nothing with it. So that's why we came up with this plan, and that element is just one of the parts of the plan.
With the government suggesting that they want to go after hate preachers, I think you guys are a lot stronger, a lot more detail on how to go after the hate preachers. Can I just get to the heart of what might be difficult here, which is if somebody says they are just taking a literal interpretation of a holy text and they are reading it, surely that is going to be their defence, isn't it? Regardless of whether it's, any form of radicalised preacher.
Yeah, I think you're right. There are going to be people that try it on. It's a fight I think we need to have, though. I mean, if you're going to have people standing up in study centres like the Al Medina Dawa Centre and read a text and claim that it is just a religious text, but I think you don't have to go much further to demonstrate the intent behind the person reading the text is to incite certain behaviours in others and hatred toward cohorts of people in our community. I think we just have to be bold about this and call it out for what it is. Yes, there will always be a legal defence some people will deploy. I'm sure we'll see that, sadly, with the perpetrators of the acts on Sunday. They will have a defence lawyer defending their actions. That's how the system works here. But it doesn't mean we shouldn't have hard laws, toughen them up so that we can actually go after these characters and straighten out some of the kinks in our society.
There's a particular court case that's playing out in Victoria. I'm not going to ask you to respond to it. It's just me explaining to people the way that obviously the role of the judiciary plays in all of this. Is that there was a court case which is playing out as we speak where the prosecutors have been told to show more intent behind somebody using the term all Zionists terrorists. Those form of words in and of themselves do not prove what prosecutors are trying. That, again, is playing out as we speak. I'm not asking you to comment on it. But in a general issue, aren't we in a difficult scenario here where unless the parameters are absolutely clear in the legislation, it's obviously open to the interpretation from the independent branch that is the judiciary, when you get to things like meaning and intent?
Yeah, and our friends in the judiciary, of course, do have a unique way of interpreting things a lot of the time. I think your viewers would certainly be of that view too. But that's why we want to have a standalone act that defines the IRA definition of anti-Semitism so that we can clearly codify what it is that we want to stamp out. And when you have that standalone act and it filters through every bit of Commonwealth legislation, and then hopefully states follow suit and territories too, you can actually then provide that guide to the judiciary so that they can't deviate too far off the reservation and make excuses for terrible behaviour. And that's how we'll tackle the funding issue as well with universities and arts institutions as well. Just got to be clear, outline exactly what anti-Semitism is, and then people know what we're dealing with and what the threshold is and how to battle it.
Yeah, I mean, criticisms of individuals, not governments, all of that stuff is again, part of the debate and discussion to be had, right? But again, in the same way, we know the difference between the CCP and the people of the Chinese Republic, we know the same when it comes to this. Last one here, and again, all of these are sort of far more complicated issues at times for my brain about how you get the words right. But I reckon the reason you're not coming back to Parliament next week is because no work's been done on what the government announced today. Remember when the Prime Minister first stood up, it was all about guns. There was no follow-up, no, we'll get back to you later in the week, not, we've got a whole bunch of stuff to come. Reality was he's got to a press conference a day before the beginning of the week when Australia starts to tune out for a little while. There's no detail behind any of what he said today, is there? And that's why you're not coming back to Parliament.
That is exactly right. They literally have a press release. There's no drafted legislation. They've not shared any of that with us, and that's exactly right. It's not why we're not coming back to Parliament. But I mean, it does indicate how seriously or not they've taken this issue over the last 6 months. They've had the report from Gillian Segal outlining exactly what they need to do. What they could have done is then gone off to the Attorney General's Department or whoever and said, please draft laws to give effect to this. They clearly haven't. And that is the problem here. So what we saw today was a bit of window dressing, and hopefully it'll get them through to Christmas and then they can breathe a sigh of relief and hope the world's forgotten about it. But I tell you what, Paul, we will not be letting people forget about this. I doubt the people of Bondi. I doubt the Jewish community. I doubt you guys are going to let Australia forget about this. When we go back to Parliament, whenever they're ready, we'll be pursuing this issue on into the future for the people that have been so badly let down by this government on this issue.
100%. And there'll be plenty of think pieces between now and then that to do so somehow will be nefarious. No, it's because it is the obvious consequence to what's taken place just a few days ago. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. All the best to you and your family for Christmas. Thank you, Jonathan.